Let's talk a little bit about how the vintage races work. Is it a circuit like the F1? And how often do you have them? And where and when? Is there a season? Is there a sponsor? Just how does that whole thing come together?
It's very much like any other race series, including modern Formula One. Modern Formula One goes to 20 different countries or 22, something. We just stay in the States or North America. We've raced in Canada and Mexico as well. It is a series, so we have a set schedule. Usually we have about a dozen races a year. Some are doubleheader type weekends. Um, the series tried to do a points program like Formula One to see who would get the most championship points. They kept doing that in Europe, but they didn't do that in the States only because there were so many people that were in and out. If they come from Europe and race in the States twice and miss two and then come back for another one, it just, somebody might just get a participation trophy. You show up at enough races and you might be first or second in the championship. So it just was kind of false economy there. So they
we would do that for millennials, but we wouldn't do it for old guys like you, right?
Yeah, this is vintage.
Old cars and old guys. No, we don't do that. But otherwise, it's very much like a Formula One weekend. We have free practice, we have qualifying, and then we would have two races usually on a weekend, a Saturday and Sunday. Sometimes only one. And then what was fun about us, we'd race at big vintage events, but also in big professional events. We would race with the Formula One guys once or twice a year. So we'd be like, think of it as going to a concert and we're the warm-up band for the main stage. And we would race on Sunday morning and they would race on Sunday afternoon. They would qualify on Saturday and we would race on Saturday after they're qualifying. So we got, great crowd exposure, and so many people would write in or give us feedback that we came to see you guys. We don't like modern cars, we don't like, they all look the same or whatever. And then, we show up and we've got cars from, a 10, 12-year span, and they look very different because of the evolution of aerodynamics and understanding that. And, things would take place and then they'd be banned and then they'd come back in another way and then they'd be banned again. And so the cars look very, very different. And it's fun for them and fun for us.
Well, that makes a lot of sense because for a road course, it costs a lot of money to set it up, right? So you might as well ride on the backs of the modern guys rather than setting all that expense to set up a course just for you guys, right? Do you do ovals also?
We never do ovals in Formula One cars. Even the modern don't do it. The Indy cars do, but not us. And our mix would be, purpose-built road courses. So there are many, many courses in the US that they have other types of weekend racing or clubs that come and use the track. And then there are what I think you were thinking about, where it's literally a street course through a city. And it takes a couple of weeks to set it up and then break it down, like Monaco. And we've raced at Long Beach as a warm-up band to Indy cars. We raced actually through the streets of Las Vegas. They brought Las Vegas back as a Formula One race.
Yeah, I wondered if you had gone out there. I was out there for a conference when they were messing the streets up to get ready for the all the locals were complaining, but
so much noise. But I hope they enjoyed it's going to be there for 5 years at least. But we raced there back in 2007, I think, as a one-off. And it was crazy, but it was a lot of fun. We ran in the old strip area around the Golden Nugget and that kind of thing. But the weirdest thing was, it's a street course, right? So it's a regular set of operating streets. And at 5:00 every day, we'd be off the track. The car, the safety marshals would go around and make sure the track was clear, and then it'd be opened up to traffic again, even with all the barriers and fencing and everything else. The problem in Las Vegas is their computerized traffic system couldn't isolate certain traffic lights to be turned off. And if they literally turned off a whole chunk, they would be closing off streets that city traffic was on while we were racing on adjacent.
Oh my.
So they left the traffic lights alone. There's so many, as you can imagine, driving for a couple miles through the streets. And, every intersection you come to has like 4 or 5 traffic lights, right? You got 2 hanging overhead, 1 on the side, the turn one, and they couldn't bag and unbag them in a short enough time. So we literally were driving around with the lights, and your brain is coming through this corner, and it's a blind left-hander, and you go to the left-hander and you see a light change from green to yellow and your foot wants to lift. And you just think, I got to just ignore this, and then you do that enough and then you get in your rental car afterwards.
You're running red lights. You got any tickets?
something that just messes with your mind.
That is
No,
so
I
funny.
totally get that.
That is hilarious.
Long Beach, they were able to shut everything off. That was good.